Have you ever been in a meeting where you understood the conversation, but you didn't know exactly what to say in English? Maybe you had a good idea, but someone else spoke first. Or maybe you worried that your English sounded too basic, too uncertain, or not professional enough. The truth is, many smart professionals struggle in meetings not because they lack knowledge, but because they lack the ready to use professional language that is needed. So, in this lesson, I'm going to teach you practical English phrases that confident professionals, and more importantly, confident professionals use, and I'm going to show you how to strategically use them in real workplace meetings every day. These phrases will help you speak more naturally, sound more professional, and participate with more confidence at work. So, are you ready? Okay, let's begin. Welcome and welcome back. I am Coach Theodore, your business English coach, and today's topic here at Mastering English Communications is how to speak more confidently in meetings. And so this is going to be important because as a professional, you need to use professional English for real workplace conversations. So let's dive right in. Let's look at why smart professionals stay quiet. Okay? You understand, but you can't respond quickly. You have great ideas, but you hesitate to speak. Confidence comes from ready to use language. So, one of the challenges for professionals using English at work is not understanding English. Many professionals understand the conversation perfectly. The real challenge is responding quickly and naturally. You may know what you want to say, but in the moment your brain is searching for the right words, it happens to me in my other languages. That hesitation can make you sound less confident, even when you are highly skilled and experienced. So, but there's good news, right? The good news is that confidence is not magic. Confidence often comes from having ready to use language prepared ahead of time. And that's what I am going to share with you today. And I've shared another version of this, the phrases, 50 phrases to use in meetings. I've shared that previously. So that is an excellent companion to this video. So, how do confident professionals get around being nervous or seeming unprepared when they actually are? They use structure. They understand how to guide conversations. They ask strategic questions. They use transition phrases. They sound calm and clear. So, here's the key. Confident professionals usually do a few things well, the four things that I just put here. And they use phrases such as from my perspective, one thing you should consider, or let's focus on. These phrases actually buy you time to think while also helping you sound calm and professional. That little half a second or a second is all the brain needs to form the correct answer. Because this is something that can happen to you even as a native English speaker. You freeze up, become hesitant and unsure. So when someone has English as their second or third or more language, of course it can happen to them as well. The structure allows you to get past that. So how do we start meetings? First of all, we start with confidence. And we say something very simple, such as, let's get started. Thanks everyone for joining. Let's quickly review the agenda. We have several topics to cover today. These are the normal opening phrases in a business meeting in the United States. So you would be perfectly at home and perfectly correct and professional using these phrases. But the important thing is that these phrases immediately create a strong first impression. So you want to be on the lookout for weak English. You want to replace weak English with stronger English. This is one of the most important communication upgrades that you can make. You don't want to use maybe we can. One thing we should consider is. Instead, I think. No, you don't want to use that either. From my perspective. So here's the key. Maybe we can does not convey a strong impression. One thing we should consider is does. I think, no. From my perspective, conveys a strong impression. So you want to make sure that you're using stronger professional phrases, such as the two. These are just two examples that I have on the screen. And join conversations more naturally. How do we do that? So many professionals hesitate because they don't know how to enter the conversation naturally. So I'm going to give you some examples of how to do that. Something as simple as I'd like to add something, respectful and polite. Can I jump in here? Also respectful and polite. That's a great point. Now, this is good because you're acknowledging the person or person sharing their point of view that they have something important to share and you were listening, but you'd like to add to that in some way. Building on that idea, once again, it's the same thing. You may understand something about what the speaker is saying or the conversation is going on in the meeting, but you realize there's something that you can add to build on that. All right. Once again, all of these are polite and respectful and seen as strong professional language. Next, you want to ask questions that sound professional. Asking questions does not make you sound weak. Let me repeat. Asking questions does not make you sound weak. In fact, smart questions often make you sound more engaged and more strategic. Could you clarify that? Can you walk us through that? What's the main takeaway? Could you give an example? Once again, polite, respectful questions, but they're designed to allow the speaker or the conversation to expand so that it can shed more light on the topic being discussed. So, how do you sound more strategic in meetings? And by strategic, I'm meaning also leadership oriented. Here's a phrase. Let's focus on the key issue. Helps to bring people back in case they stray a little bit off topic. How does this impact the team? This is important when something is being discussed or some things are being discussed, but no one is addressing one of the key elements. In this case, the question asked about the team. How does it affect the team? The team is an important resource to making things happen, if not the most important resource to making things happen. What are the next steps? Critical. Just exchanging great information with no next steps is actually a waste of time. So we don't want to do that. What's our priority here? In case it was not made clear, this allows the speaker or the people engaged in the conversation to all agree on the priority and the next steps and things such as the impact on the team and where to focus. Now, let's look at professional ways to agree. Agreement is important in meetings, but professional agreement sounds more polished than simply saying, yeah, or okay. Instead, let's look at phrases such as, that aligns with my thinking. I completely agree. That makes sense. That's a strong point. And of course, one of the most valuable workplace communication skills is learning how to disagree respectfully. Professional disagreement is calm and respectful, not emotional. So instead of directly rejecting someone's idea, try phrases such as, I see it a little differently. That's one approach. I have another perspective. I understand your point, but. So just to give you a little bit more context here on this screen, you could say, I understand your point, but I have another perspective. That's one approach, but I see it a little differently. See what I mean? Respectful, polite, but strong professional language. You can also interrupt without sounding aggressive and obnoxious. In fast-moving meetings, interruptions sometimes happen naturally, and that's okay. The key is learning how to interrupt professionally and respectfully. Sorry to interrupt. Before we move on, can I add something here? Just to clarify. And of course, meetings have a bad reputation in corporate life of wasting time. Obviously, all meetings don't waste time, but there's an element to them that they can easily go off topic or take too long or some other element or appear to be a meeting for the sake of having a meeting. So to keep meetings productive, you can use phrases as, let's stay focused. Maybe we should revisit this later. Let's clarify priorities. Let's get back to the main issue. Strong communicators know how to guide the conversation back on track professionally. And so, how do we guide the conversation professionally? Now, leadership communication is often about guiding conversations clearly. Let's summarize. Let's move to the next topic. Here's what we agreed on. 3 key phrases to help you guide the conversation professionally. And lastly, let's review the action items. So here you have 4 that you can use regularly in professional meeting at the appropriate time that guides the conversation professionally. And at some point, the meeting comes to an end. So strong professionals also know how to close meetings clearly and professionally. Thanks, everyone, for your time. I'll follow up with the team. Let's reconnect next week. I'll send a summary. Now let's look at 4 habits that can immediately improve your professional communication. First, speak slower. Clarity is more important than speed. Second, use shorter sentences. Simple language sounds strong, actually. Pause naturally. Silence shows confidence. Reuse strong phrases. Repetition will help to build fluency. So let's look at a quick professional review. Let's move forward. That's a valid concern. Can you expand on that? What's the timeline? Right? Now, here are some phrases for you to use tomorrow. Pick three. It's up to you. I'm not going to pick them for you. Choose three phrases from today's lesson and use them tomorrow in a real conversation, meeting, or work discussion. Practice saying them aloud daily. Save this lesson and revisit it weekly until you get all the phrases down and you've practiced quite a bit. Small steps, practice daily, will help you build lasting confidence. Now, how we're going to continue improving your professional English? Because you've built a strong foundation for confident meeting conversations to keep growing. Next up in this professional series, sound more professional in work emails. Uh, Work emails, while it may not seem that important right now or exciting, let's say, is going to be very, very important because that represents you as a professional when you're not speaking directly to someone. So if you found this information useful, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. It helps us help you as we continue our linguistic adventure together. Take care, everyone.